Her hands shook slightly as she loaded the final belt of 30mm rounds into the Apache's cannon. The desert air was thick with dust, and the sun burned hot against the steel of the helicopter. She looked like any other ground crew soldier, determined, focused, and invisible in the shadows of war. But when she bent to lift another crate, the sleeve of her uniform shifted. The pilot's eyes narrowed. His breath caught, because on her forearm was a tattoo he had seen once before, deep inside a classified file no one was supposed to access. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The pilot froze in the cockpit, staring at her as if time itself had stopped. That symbol wasn't just ink. It was a mark tied to a covert program long buried under red tape and secrecy. He had been briefed years ago, told the symbol represented soldiers trained off the books, those who disappeared from rosters, men and women who lived as ghosts. And now, here she was, just a young woman loading ammo in silence, unaware that her secret had been seen. Her name was Riley. She joined the army to escape the shadows of her past, trying to bury the scars of things she could never tell anyone. Each day she worked quietly, blending in, never letting anyone close enough to ask questions. But that tattoo, it wasn't something she could erase. And now, she felt the pilot's gaze burning into her skin, making her heart pound like a drum. Inside her chest, for a moment, she thought about pulling her sleeve down, pretending, denying. But then, an even sharper thought pierced her mind. What if he exposes me? What if he knows the truth I swore I'd never reveal? The pilot, Captain Hayes, wasn't sure whether to confront her or stay silent. He remembered the classified briefing, the warning. If you ever see this mark, do not engage. These soldiers are protected assets. Their existence must not be revealed. And yet, the weight of secrecy gnawed at him. What was she doing here, alone, in the dust of an ordinary base, as if she were just another recruit? The crew around them carried on, shouting orders, dragging crates, the clatter of metal echoing across the tarmac. But between Riley and Hayes, there was only silence, thick and suffocating. And then it happened. A sudden alarm blared across the base. Enemy movement reported near the perimeter. Soldiers rushed to stations, the air filled with the pounding of boots and the roar of engines. Riley instinctively grabbed the last crate of ammo, running toward the Apache as the pilot leaped down to meet her, their eyes locked again. Hayes whispered under his breath, "Who are you really?" Her lips parted, trembling. But before she could answer, the call came. Apache 1, wheels up, now. Hayes had a choice. Expose her, demand answers, or trust the look in her eyes, a look that carried both sorrow and steel. He chose trust. With her help, the Apache roared into the sky, slicing through dust and chaos. The battle was fierce, enemy fire streaking across the horizon. But Riley's precision in loading, her timing, her calm under fire, it was flawless. She wasn't just support. She was trained for this. Hayes realized then, this woman wasn't hiding from weakness. She was hiding from a past too powerful for ordinary eyes to see. When the smoke cleared, the Apache landed back on base. Soldiers cheered, slapping each other's shoulders, celebrating the survival that came from teamwork. Hayes stepped down, his gaze still on Riley. She stood quietly, sleeve tugged back into place, heart pounding, waiting for judgment. But Hayes only nodded, a slow, respectful nod that told her, "Your secret is safe." Because in war, sometimes justice isn't about rules. Sometimes it's about mercy. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And as the desert sun set behind the Apache, Riley lifted her eyes to the sky, finally breathing freely, knowing at least one person had chosen silence, not betrayal. If this story touched you, make sure to leave a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories that remind us. Behind every uniform, behind every scar, there's a human story waiting to be told.